What's going on, you beautiful people? It is Trelli here, and today we are going to be going to over 21 tips to instantly climb ranks in Ranked Joust Season 8. Now, I've been GM for a while, ever since Season 3 when this game mode first came out. Over the years, I've become pretty keen at understanding how this game mode works, all these different patches, all these updates. Things change, but there's a lot of things that stay the same. So I've learned a lot over these years, and I'm just going to be combining it all into 21 like little tips or features or tricks that you can do to help climb ranks. But it's kind of a thing that would work for anyone. This isn't going to be something that only a bronze player can understand. There's going to be tips throughout the whole video, and at least if you are like a GM, there's going to be 4 or 5 things that I guarantee you didn't know or will at least help you to remember them. So without further ado, here we go. 21 tips to instantly climb in Ranked Joust Season 8. Number 1. With tank meta being so prevalent, pen is extremely important. I cannot tell you how many games I have had a random on a mage and they have not even thought to build Obsidian Shard or Charon's Coin. There's neat situations for both of these, but a general rule of thumb is if they have over 2 defense items, or Gauntlet of Thebes and a full defense item, then you need percentage pen to counter this, or you will always die to their tank dive. Number 2. Same concept here, but if you're running double tank, which is the meta right now and has been since Ranked Joust came out in Season 3, if your game goes past 20 minutes, you should be looking to get a kin size on any warrior or assassins. Obviously, hunters as well. Tank meta is the truth, and if the game goes late, the deciding factor could be how easily you can shred these tanks. Kin size and Bumba's Hammer are 2 items that can be absolutely carry a game if it gets to that point. Number 3, don't F6. Now, this might sound stupid, and I know a lot of you are kind of rolling your eyes right now, but Joust respawn timers are very long. And if a team messes up an all-in, you can easily sweep up the lane and end off of it. It's happened to me countless times where we have thrown or we've got thrown upon because number 1, we were overconfident, or number 2, the enemies were overconfident. It's the same spawn timers as Conquest late game, 60 seconds, and it's much smaller map. Remember that when you're trying to F6. Number 4, this kind of goes with what I was just talking about. The Titan does not reset in this game mode. So if you poke the Titan, you walk in, do damage, and back up, the HP does not reset. So walking in, doing some poke, and then backing up is always a viable strat. Just make sure you don't overcommit to an end, because as I said, the respawns are the same as in Conquest late game, and the map is much smaller. You can really throw this way, so make sure you're just poking for HP and getting out. Number 5, try to, if it can be helped, to never solo queue. I understand sometimes you just want to play, and Joust is a game mode about teamwork, so you really want to make sure that you are communicating with your 2 other teammates. There's no real ganks here. It's just raw team fighting in a small lane. You should be able to work together with your 2 other teammates. It's going to be key. Whichever team does this better usually wins. Number 6, make sure you join my Discord. This goes on with the last tip. We have a Looking for Games tab, which will let you find other players in a similar rank that can help you climb. There's over 1,100 people currently from all platforms, and I'm sure some of them will be ready to queue and help you out any other time. It's going to be in the description below. Number 7, learn your XP curves. It is actually quite simple, but if you let the other team get red buff, and then they get their own blue buff, and you get your blue buff, they will be hitting level 5 a wave before you. If you're stepping up, assuming they're level 4, and then they hit 5 and engage, you will definitely lose and give up much more of a lead than just the 1 buff. So make sure that you are playing passively if you lose the first buff to the enemy team, and if you don't, make sure you're getting your minis and your buff and staying back. I'm telling you, this happens so much where you forget that the enemy has a buff over you, and they just hit 5 and engage, and you give up first blood, just like that. Number 8, have one person solo the minis near FG. Just like I said last game, if you lose the red buff, you could be in for some trouble. But if you let someone solo the minis near FG after you guys lost red, and then they come over to blue buff as well, they will still hit their level 5 ult with the enemy team. You and your teammate will not, but your third teammate will. And that may deter the enemies from engaging. As long as you hit the person with the most important ult to still hit 5 like that. Probably not a tank, obviously, because they can't solo the minis very easily. But if you get a carry to do it, they might be deterred from going in, and then you can just stall until you're back to regular. Number 9, learn the meta / watch YouTubers or streamers. Now, this is something that I did all the time when I was trying to learn Smite, and still do to this day. You never know how many times I just hop into like Zapman or PandaCat or FinalK streams just to watch them and understand how they're building and how they're playing. Because I don't understand ADCs too well. That's why I watch them mostly. But when I want to learn how to play hunters, that's where I go. Because they're the better players, and I just want to learn how to play and understand that. So make sure that you are watching these guys to understand what to ban as well. I understand that knowing what gods are annoying should be a no-brainer, but I still get hundreds of comments a week asking me which characters to ban. For general ban, Sobek, Fenrir, Artio, Sol, Odin, Afro are all extremely oppressive, annoying characters that you have to play around. This means that you can't engage when you want to, and you have to play around their abilities like Sobek Pluck, Afro, Odin Cage, etc. If you are first pick / second pick, you can start to play around these strategies. Okay, number 10. I'm going to assume that you already learned what I was talking about from the last tip. So to continue here, once you understand that, depending on if you're first or second pick, you can start to plan your comp accordingly. Letting Fenrir through so you can pick Hel or Geb in the second phase is a great strategy. You get to effectively make Fenrir ult useless with the Geb shield or the Hel cleanse. This is what I'm talking about here. Being second pick can be more powerful if you pick and ban accordingly. Number 11, play to your comp's strength. If you are picking Mage Hunter Guardian and you're facing a Mulan Cerberus Thoth, you should be not looking to fight early. They'll likely have double med or med shell and will be having effectively 3 times your health bars early. If you try to fight them at red and get baited by meditation, you will lose the buff, then you'll lose your blue in the process. Now you're a full level down and the game is impossible to come back from. Study the enemy's relics and play to your comp's strength. Number 12, do not do Fire Giant when Phoenix is down. This is a tip that I really need to get out there because I solo queue a good portion of the game and my teammates ping FG right after they kill Phoenix because it's something free to do. There could be some instances when the regen is helpful for ending, but it's much better to try poking the Titan and then backing up and getting FG before Phoenix spawns again. If you hit 30 seconds before it spawns and then you do it, you still have about a minute to get the Phoenix once it comes up. And trust me, it is much better to save it for when the Phoenix is up and then try again than going for it when the Phoenix is still up and it's shooting at you. It's not going to work out. It's like, I mean, if you have a Hunter, maybe, but you want to make sure you're doing FG when the Phoenix is up so you can save it for that. Doing it when it's down makes no sense. Number 13, bait enemies into picking meta characters that you can counter. I already touched on this a bit with the Fenrir bait. It's something me and Barty do a lot, but another thing we do is leave Thoth open when we aren't first pick. So they'll pick it thinking they have some broken character, and then we pick double assassin with a Daji or a Fenrir to run it down easily. Check the video in the top right corner if you want a good example of this, but learn how to deal with these top meta picks and you bait your enemies into first picking them, you can get free wins. Won't work all the time, but if you play 5 games and you get 2 of them free wins by letting Thoth through, you're certainly gaining some valuable MMR. Number 14. Blackthorn Hammer is arguably the best early game item for someone who doesn't have great positioning. I've seen plenty of times where someone picks like a Hunter or an Assassin and then slam Transcendence first item and tries to play like they're tanky. Transcendence does nothing until you purchase the full thing and get it stacked. Tier 1 and Tier 2 are pretty much useless. Blackthorn is cheaper. It gives you benefits right away on top of 400 HP. It's honestly overpowered and it will likely be getting nerfed again in the future, but if you're watching this right when it comes out, I recommend getting in on it almost every physical character, even Hunters, if you're not confident in your ability to live early game. This item is the way to go. Number 15, learn the meta relics. As of right now, double med and med shell are what you will usually see from the tanks and then a beads on the carry, but you check your enemy relics and you see what they look like and you see beads or Aegis, you should probably wait until anti-heal is online, or at least these meds get burned to fight. Med used to be a cheese early strat that fell off late game, but now it upgrades to reduce cooldown. It's strong throughout the whole game. Make sure you're playing around this and not just diving and then getting baited by free heals. Number 16, be very weary picking gods like Ullr, Thoth, Artio, Bacchus, Agni, Hou-Yi when Ares is open. You can honestly beat teams before level 12 just off ulting their carries with no CC immune ults off cooldown because they are so far behind they won't be able to do anything. Ares ult with Pridlin alone is able to ult twice before beats come up, and with no cleanses or CC immunity should be a free kill every single time. Number 17, this is a cop-out. It's pretty much the same tip as last time but the reverse order, but if you see any of those gods picked, make sure you have a solid Ares player or learn how to play Ares because you can get easy wins just countering those characters. I'm very serious. Just blink ult them off cooldown. You will win for free. If there's no Chiron Hell or Magi's built, you should be able to get a free early lead off of countering these no CC immune characters with Ares. Number 18, follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/TWITCHRELLI. I know this is another cop-out, but I stream GL level games all the time, and if I can't answer your questions or comments here, I will certainly be more likely to answer them on stream, which can help you with builds or gods, etc. So yeah, come check me out. Number 19, Soul Reaver is an excellent mid-game pickup if you are dealing with Blackthorn Hammer abusers. Much like the Obsidian Shard comment, I see a lot of people not picking this up when against high HP comps, and it will greatly help your DPS. It's even useful on Guardians for damage item if you feel like you're tanky enough, so you can slap it on like a Sobek or a Terra, any sort of Guardian pick there, and throw that as your one damage item if you're tanky enough, and it'll really help you out in both regards. Number 20, Ethereal Staff is likely the most slept on item in the current meta because of how it is viewed as a tank item. I buy it on pretty much everyone. I won't lie to you guys. There's a certain playstyle you should adhere to when purchasing it, which is pretty much staying back and poking with your abilities until you have 3 stacks of E-Staff and then going in afterwards. Once you've effectively stolen 3 stacks from the enemy, you give yourself 3 stacks, which goes a long way, especially if you're a mage and your guardian have it built. You can steal a lot of HP from the enemies this way. It's a great flex item for some tanks, for some tank stats, CCR, and power. All right, 21, and honestly, could be the most important one, and this will save your games. If you are not trio queued, mute your teammates at the first sight of BM. I personally am numb to it at this point. Believe me, I have been in so many games where someone has said something to me and I just go off typing to them because I feel bad. But tilting because your teammates try to roast you, even when they're 90% of the time they are wrong, it's such a waste. Muting people that annoy you before it gets to the point of tilt can go a long way and can stop throws before they happen. And on the flip side, I could have made this another tip itself, but stay positive. If you are uplifting your teammates and you're not tilting and you're not getting angry and you're making good solid plays, it's gonna work out, or at the very least, you'll be better for next game. Just do not let your emotions get in the way of the game and just have fun. All right, that is 21 tips to instantly climb in ranked Joust from a GM perspective. I really hope you guys did enjoy. If I left anything out, definitely leave some in the comments below. Maybe I'll make a part 2 to this when the new season drops in a month or 2. If not, please leave a like if you did enjoy this. Drop a comment. Subscribe if you are new. It's TWITCH.TVITRELLI, guys. Peace.